Are you looking for back to school rhythm activities that you can use in your elementary classroom so that you can review the rhythms that you ended with last year in your classroom? If so, this is the video for you. Hello, whimsically musical teachers. It is I, Rainey Barton, back again after a very long hiatus. But you know what? I have a bunch of videos planned out for these next couple months, so get rocking and rolling. We are back to our Monday schedule of awesome teacher videos. If you don't know me, I am Rainey Barton. I'm an elementary music teacher. I also teach middle school musical theater at a private school in Central Florida, and the air kicked on, so I'm going to turn it off in just a second. But basically, I made this channel to help other music teachers with tips, tricks, strategies, lesson plan ideas, all the things so that you can use it in your elementary music classroom and inspire a love and appreciation of music making into the heart of every child. So if you're interested in that, click subscribe, definitely, and we'll have awesome videos for the foreseeable future. But in this video specifically, I wanted to share my top 6 rhythms activities that I use not only year round, but especially when it comes to back to school time. Because for me, I've been in school since the 10th, and I know that some people don't go back until after Labor Day. I know some might have just started last week, this week. You're still trying to review rhythms and melodies and things that you did at the end of the last year, so that you can see where you're starting as a base for this year. And so reviewing with rhythm activities is definitely a great way to do that. And so we are going to talk all about how to do that and what my favorite activities are. Some of them I will have links for, as I have actually created them in my shop. Some of them are just favorites that I've gotten from other people, so I'll definitely mention that there. But yeah, let's talk about my 6 favorite rhythm activities for back to school time. So the first activity that I have to share with you is Write the Room. Now, if you've never played Write the Room before, I have a specific video that is dedicated to just how to play that game. It's a Halloween version, but I have year-round version. So I'll link that video underneath here if you want to see a more detailed description of how that game works. But essentially what happens is you will give kids a sheet of paper that kind of basically looks like this. And this one is for back to school, as I said. So it's all back to school pictures, like apple, lunchbox, pencil, scissors, all of that. And the students will get this. And so this one can fit 10 rhythms. I will have 10 rhythms hanging all around my classroom in different places. Sometimes I like to make it a little bit challenging for them and hide some of them. Not really hide them, but just put them in not the easiest to find places because they have fun with that. But it'll look like this, and these rhythms will be all placed throughout my classroom. And then the students will be told to go, and they will go and they will start finding the rhythms. And so if they find this one, which is an apple, and it says ta, ta, tigga, tigga, ta, they will then find the apple on their piece of paper, and they will draw this with ta, ta, tigga, tigga, ta, and then they're going around. And this is really effective for reviewing how to write rhythms and notate rhythms, which is actually really important. Because as I always discover, the kids don't realize you have to color in the notes in order for them to actually be notes and differentiate them from being a quarter note versus a half note. And it just helps them learn how to write these so that when you're actually notating rhythms in class, they already know how to do this. So this is a really great activity to do for that. There are different ways that you could do this. You could do this with solfege and do melodies for review, all different sorts of things. I use this all the way from kindergarten all the way to 5th grade. So really simple with quarter and eighth note to all the way to T-ticka and dotted eighth and 16th and all of that. So this is one that I definitely love using in my classroom. We have a lot of fun with it. I always put on music in the background as they're going, and then we review it at the end, and then I always have the answer key like this so that they can check their work at the end, and generally we just go from there. And I do let them work in groups of 2 in case they want to work together, but they're more than welcome to work by themselves. And so this one is a super fun one to definitely check out in your classroom. I do have a back to school rhythm bundle. I'll link it at the bottom of this video if you're interested in getting these already. But that's my first activity I love to do with my students. The next one is a tried and true PE game that you can now bring music into, and that is called Steal the Bacon. If you've never played Steal the Bacon before, then how the game works in PE class usually is you'll have 2 lines of kids, and you'll have them numbered 1 through 10 and 10 through 1 back to back. And there will be a ball in the middle, and the coach will say 2. And then the kids that are 2 have to get up, get the ball, and see who can get back to their spot first without the other person tagging them. And so it's like a team sport activity. Well, you can do that with music. And so what you do instead is you take a bunch of rhythms. And so these are all ta and TT rhythms. And I would throw them all over the floor in the middle of the room. And I would divide the kids up into teams and have 1 through 7 here and then 1 through 7 there. And then I would say a rhythm like T, 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 5. And then 5s would get up and they would have to search all around the room for that pattern. And I would say that pattern up to 3 times, and then after that they're on their own, they got to get it. And then my rule is if you find it, you are only allowed to crab walk back to your spot, and the other people are only allowed to crab walk to try to tag you, because if they tag you before you get back to your spot, they get the point instead of you. The reason I made crab walk is because I learned that even if you tell kids to walk, they'll end up running, and since there's papers on the ground, they're going to end up hurting themselves, as has happened. And when you crab walk, there's not much chance that you can get injured, really, I've discovered, and they think that it's funny. So I make them crab walk. But yeah, you just put these all over the floor, and then I have this rhythm list that I always call from so that I know what patterns are on the floor, because you don't want to be looking directly at the pattern that you're going to choose. And so I'll call one of these rhythms out, I'll call a number, and then I make sure that everybody gets a turn before I go to the next person again. And so that's a super fun one that you can use in your classroom. My kids absolutely love this. They ask for it all the time. So I also do have this linked as a rhythm bundle. I will make sure to link it underneath this video. But Steal the Bacon is definitely a fun one that you can use all year round. Next is a fun one that everybody uses everywhere. I don't have like any like slides for this, but you could make slides for this. It's called Poison Rhythm. And so basically what the students do is you will practice doing a couple of different patterns with them, and then you will assign one poison rhythm. And this poison rhythm is something that they are not allowed to ever speak or clap again. So let's say for this example, it's T T T T T T ta. They're never allowed to say that ever again. And so we'll do a bunch of different patterns, and the students will echo me. So I would go like ta, ta, T T ta, and they'd go, maybe I go ta, T T T T ta, T T T T T T ta. And then if it's silent and no one did it, they get a point. If one person even goes T or starts clapping it, I get a point. And it's always, I do teacher versus class, and they seem to have a lot of fun with that, and we do 1st to 5. But I also say that you cannot be like doing this and yelling, don't say it, because I feel like that's cheating. And so like they're allowed to like go like, but that's it. And so we have a lot of fun with that, and that helps them review remembering the rhythms and how to clap the different rhythms as we're practicing the different rhythms. And then if I think that they're getting really, really good, I'll add 2 poison patterns in one game. One time this class was really, really good, and we added 3 patterns, and that was just crazy. But they have a lot of fun with this. So poison rhythm is definitely one that you can introduce with your students. I've done recorder poison rhythm before. I've done melodic poison rhythm before with like Soul and Me. So there's definitely many different ways that you can play this, but that's always a fun one to add in your music classroom. Next one is another fun tried and true game, and that is Rhythm 4 Corners. The first time I actually saw somebody do this was on TPT. I saw like a melodic 4 corners, and I absolutely loved their idea of it. So then I was like, how could you do this rhythmically? And so there's a couple different ways you could do this, but the way that I thought about it was that I would put 4 rhythms on the screen, and it would to determine each of the 4 corners. So let's say I was doing like 16th notes. I might have ta ta ticka ticka ta, rest rest ticka ticka ta, ticka 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 ta, and T T T T ticka ticka T T. And so I'll have those on the board, and I'll designate the 4 corners in my classroom, like corner 1 here, 2, 3, and 4. I'll start the game. I'll give the students 10 seconds to get into a corner, and I do only mean 10 seconds. If they don't make it into the corner by then they are out and they must sit out on their dot. And then I will clap one of the rhythms. So maybe I go, and then the students go, oh, dang it, that's corner 3. If they were in corner 3, then they have to go sit down, and then the game keeps going. I do also make a rule that you are only allowed to go to the same corner that was just said one time, because a lot of students will learn that you can kind of cheat the system that way, and then the game goes on forever and ever and ever. Although sometimes I also trick them by doing the same pattern like 3 times in a row so that they can't do the same corner, because I know how to catch them for that. But it's super fun. The students ask to like play this game like a couple of different times because it's just so fun, especially when they're not the first corner to get out, which of course the first people to get out are always like, oh, dang it, like, can we do this again? And I'm like, well, you gotta wait for the round to be over. But yeah, that's a super fun way. So you just have the 4 rhythms on the screen, you clap one, and then that rhythm or those people are out, all of that sort of stuff. So it's super, super simple. If you want to make it more challenging, then you could have a bunch of slides where you have more than just 4 rhythms, and like each time the rhythm changes, that's always fine too. It just depends on like how much work you're willing to create. And I think there's probably already ones out there on TPT, but yeah, I definitely love using Rhythm 4 Corners. All right, the next one is one that I absolutely love. My students eat it up, and that is music Trashketball. So if you don't know Trashketball, it typically is like a trivia game where the students are answering questions, and if they get a question right, they get to throw a piece of paper into like the trash bin as like Trashketball to get extra points for their team. And I kind of did that, but changed it up a little. And so basically it's kind of like Jeopardy, where they'll have different categories for like different points, and the students will be split into teams. And I'll divide them, and then they'll start answering questions. Like, some will be like, what pattern matches this word? Like, basket. And then they have to see, like, that it's TT, or like whatever it is. Or there'll be other ones where it's like, read this rhythm, and they'll have to be able to read ta, ta, TT, ta, or like different things like that. And so each one is a different word, a different point. And then how I played it is, if they got the point right, then they got the chance to throw, one team member got the chance to throw a tennis ball into this bucket that I had. And I have dots in my room, and so I said if you threw it from the third dot, you got 1 point. The fourth dot, you got 10 points, 20 points, and then the fifth dot is 30 points, because that was kind of like, you know, like a 3-pointer in basketball. And so the further away they wanted to try for is what I allowed them to do, and they had so much fun with it. And we always make sure that each student gets a turn to be the person to toss it into the basket, so I don't just let like the best basketball people do it. I want to make sure everybody gets a chance. But then that allows them to have a lot of fun as well. And so it's kind of like a mix of Jeopardy and basketball all combined together into one. The kids absolutely love it. They ask for it all the time. I do have a set of rhythm slides for this, so I will link that underneath here if you're interested in checking it out. But it's super fun to do at the end of year and beginning of year to review those rhythms. And then my last activity that I have for you is one of my favorites as well, and that is King of the Mountain. Now, if you've never heard of King of the Mountain, basically what it is each student, I'm gonna use this for now, each student will be in the circle, and they will have a rhythm that is at the front and back. I don't have it printed, but this would be the same rhythm on the front and back, and it'll sit in front of them like a tabletop so that the people beyond them can see it, and they can still see theirs. So then you'll pick one king or queen to be the top of the mountain. And on their turn, they have to clap and say their rhythm, and then they have to clap and say somebody else's. And then that person has to clap and say their own, and then somebody else's. And it was terrifying. This fell off of my thing while I was talking. Oh dear God, that scared the living poop out of me. Anyway, what I was saying. Okay, you keep going in a circle until someone messes up inevitably because they forgot their rhythm, or they didn't realize it was their rhythm, or whatever the case may be. That person must stand up and go to the bottom of the mountain, and the bottom of the mountain is either the person to the left or the right of the king of the mountain. You can decide. I always just do good old rock, paper, scissors, and whoever loses is at the bottom. So then anybody that got out to that side of them scoots down one. Their rhythm stays where it is the whole time, and the rest of the people stay where they are. And so you're trying to get up the mountain by eliminating the people that are in front of you on the way up there. Also, like the queen or king of the mountain. My kids absolutely love this game. It is so much fun. We do it for rhythm review all of the time. I'm currently working on a solfege version because there are a billion rhythm ones on TPT that I'm going to also make at some point, but there are no solfege ones. So that's what I'm working on currently, because I think you can do that for like melodic practice as well. But that one is definitely fun. If you're confused on how to do it, you can probably find a YouTube video on it as well. I think I'm going to also create one because this one is a favorite of mine, but it's a little confusing to understand the rules if you don't know fully. But King of the Mountain is definitely a fun one to try to use in your music classroom. So that's all the activities and rhythm games that I have for you. So we had Write the Room, Steal the Bacon, Poison Rhythm, Rhythm Four Corners, Music Trashketball, and King of the Mountain. Like I said, I have Write the Room, Steal the Bacon, and Music Trashketball already readily available for you if you want to check those out down below. And I will include links to other places where I learned about these other games if I can down below. Definitely let me know if you've used any of these games in your classroom, which ones you like using. I would love to hear that from you. And make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends as my camera decides to get back in focus. Thank you. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share with your friends to help them get through the beginning of the school year successfully. And with that, I will see you in next week's video.